How would you feel if you were walking by the side of a pool and someone kept splashing water on your shoes? And you thought, oh my gosh, why are they splashing water on my shoes? That's really aggravating. And then you looked over into the pool and you realized that the reason why they were splashing water on your shoes was because they were drowning. How would that change the feeling that you had about that person splashing water on your shoes? All of a sudden, you would go from being aggravated at them to really, truly feeling the need to help them. And I had a situation with my son today that made me think of that. He was going through some stressful things, and I was trying to help him with some solutions, and I was asking him some questions and offering some solutions for him. And he just was kind of ignoring me sometimes, but giving the answers that he was giving me, he was really aggravated with me and just short and not being very nice. And I'd already been kind of having a not great day. I don't know why. Nothing in particular had happened. It was just kind of one of those days where things were a little bit off. And I was just kind of feeling a little vulnerable anyway. And then he was acting in this way, and it made me feel kind of attacked. And as he got up to leave, I tried to hug him, and he just kind of stood there. And he didn't respond. He didn't hug me back. It was one of those times where I wanted to hug him and have him hug me and say, "Oh, Mom, I'm really sorry. I'm having a bad day, and I'm sorry that I'm not being very nice. Can you understand?" But at 17, I guess he's not mature enough to look at it that way. There are times when I'm not mature enough to look at it that way. And so what happened was I ended up just bursting into tears. And I sat there, and my husband, sweet as he is, he came over and put his arm around me and, let me cry. And then I felt better. And I had to stop and think about that. And I had to, first of all, think about what lie was I believing that caused me to feel hurt in the first place. And I think the lie that I was believing was that I needed him to validate me, to love me, to give me the love and comfort that I wasn't feeling inside of myself. And when I stop believing that I need that from somebody else, then I'm okay. But it really brought to my mind the thought that hurt people, meaning someone that's hurting inside tends to lash out and hurt someone else. And when we're not in a space where we can realize that that's what's going on, then we're hurt also, and we lash out, we lash back. Kind of like an injured animal that will bite or scratch or harm you because it's hurting for no other reason other than it's hurting. And so when I stopped and I thought about what was going on, I realized that at a different point in my life, I would have been very angry. I would have probably yelled at him. I would have gone into my mode of, he's not grateful for anything. I always try to do things to help him, and he never appreciates it. And I would have been really angry. I would have had a bad day. Everything would have been bad. But when I was able to stop and realize that I was viewing the situation through hurt already, and that he was hurting also, I could stop what I was feeling and not stuff it down. I let myself cry because I think crying is very valuable. When we feel like crying, we need to cry because it's a way of cleansing our emotions, cleansing our inner vessel. And when we hold that in, we're holding those emotions in, and they tend to start backing up. And so I was able to cry and let that out. And then I could look at the situation through the lens of he's really stressed. He's hurting. And no, he didn't handle the situation the way that I would have wanted him to. But with his knowledge of where he is right now, he was doing the best that he knew how to do. And it was up to me to step up and do the best that I knew how to do, which was to let it go, to look through it through the lens of he's just hurting. And I, in turn, can love him. It's like the person that's drowning. At first I was really aggravated, but when I stopped and I turned and I looked and I could recognize that he was splashing water in my shoes because he was hurting, because he was drowning, now I can have compassion and love for him and know that it's going to be okay. And even if it doesn't change the way that he feels, even if he behaves the same way, I can realize that changing within myself is what the important thing is. Because now, instead of feeling angry at him and wanting to hurt him back, all I feel in my heart right now is compassion. Compassion on him, because he's dealing with a lot of things for a 17-year-old that I don't always deal the best with myself at 45. And just having that love in my heart and knowing that everything's going to be okay and that I can make the situation better by changing within myself has been a wonderful gift that I've been able to give to myself and to my family. And so I hope that this will help you when you're looking at a situation where someone is not treating you the way that you want to be treated. They're splashing water in your shoes and they're aggravating you. What is really happening to that person? And how can you view that in a different light?